And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. And I am so happy to say we're joined right now by Fox News legal analyst. You watch her on O'Reilly and all the other shows, Lise Wiehl. Hello, Lise.
Hey, Steve. It's great to be with you here in studio.
Well, yeah, it is. It is great to see you instead of just talking to you on the phone. And a great new book. And you're just churning them out. And one is better than the next. And this one is Snapshot. A novel, and I'm holding up the book here for everybody to see. And this one, I think, I'm just guessing, probably has a lot of special meaning to you because right on the cover of the book is a photo that you could explain to the folks where it came from and what it does signify to you.
Right. That snapshot is a snapshot that my father, my FBI agent father, took in the 1960s in Fort Worth, Texas, where he had been assigned after debriefing Marina Oswald, you know, of course, the widow of Lee Harvey Oswald. Right. We were in Dallas for that, and then after that, it took a couple of years. After that, he was reassigned to Fort Worth in a very tumultuous time, obviously, in the Deep South. You know, the KKK was in full force. There were lots of riots and processions, and he took his little daughter, was just a little kid at the time, took me to one of these marches in Fort Worth, and I'm just sitting down there, and this other little girl, a little black girl, comes up to me, and clearly we're going to be friends. You know, we just start talking and playing and everything, completely unaware of what's going on behind us, which is a civil rights procession. So he's, you know, my dad's packing heat as an FBI agent, and he just starts taking these pictures, these snapshots of me and this little girl in that moment. And from there, then, I create fiction, a story about what happened in that civil rights march, what was going on behind those little girls. And I assassinate an up-and-coming civil rights leader, and all these years later, the wrong man, a black man, is actually on death row and is going to be executed at any moment. And this little girl, now grown up, has to find the friend that she met that day and get to be with her father, the retired FBI agent, and solve the mystery of what happened. Wow. So it's a kind of a historical thriller. Yeah. It starts back in the 60s and then goes to present day, where Lisa, that's the main protagonist, she's a federal prosecutor, and she has to find this other little girl, which in real life, I mean, that little girl exists. She's out there somewhere. Right. And it would be so cool if this book would actually bring us together. If she would recognize herself. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, now you see, you talk about in the book, she gets a call from her estranged father. Yes. Now, I'm prying here, but is that true to fact with you and your relationship?
No, it's not with my dad. In fact, you'll see the dedication. I dedicate the book to my dad. Okay. But I did tell him this. I said, you know, it's got to. I need for there to be this tension about the daughter and the father.
So everybody's going to be asking him the same question I just asked you.
Know. Well, you know, at least this time, you know, in some books, the mother is dead, and so my mom was this time said, please don't kill me off. I said, okay, we can be divorced from dad. In real life, they're not. They're happily married for some 50 years.
And you have a habit of killing off talk show hosts.
Yeah, and yes, you do know about killing off radio talk show hosts. I have done that in Hand of Fate, and everybody wanted to make sure that they, you know, everybody thought that was a person I was killing off. There were lots of people to kill off in Hand of Fate. So you have to kind of create that tension, and I did that in Snapshot. But you know, a lot of it was really based in historical fact. There were a lot of sort of Kennedy-esque things that were going on then. You know, J. Edgar Hoover, my dad's boss. I mean, he was having, you know, files made of people and trying to, you know, stories out on people. And there were so many things like that. And after the assassination of JFK, so I tried to weave in some reality to it too. Right. I mean, the research is there. I mean, yes, it's a story, and yes, I make a lot of things up, but some of it was
just based on fact, and it's based on the real picture that your dad took and that you were exposed to, and you know, they're all page turners, every single one of them, and I read them and then I give them to my mom, who just loves your books.
They're mom approved. That's good.
Yeah, it's very good. So Snapshot is the latest by Lise Wiehl, and I don't want to let you go before asking you a couple of questions. First of all, what do you make of this whole Huckabee, you know, talking about what I believe is a legitimate war on women by the Democrats, or if not a war on women by the Democrats, a degrading of women by the Democrats, because they will have you believe, because all they talk about is, you know, women need government-given birth control pills and they need abortion. They don't talk about anything else. And if you look at Obama's record on women, economically speaking, women are suffering almost disproportionately in this economy. So you know, what do you think when you keep hearing, and then they take Huckabee's remarks and they misrepresent him and try to make it say that he was saying that about women?
No. You have to put it in context. He was not saying that. Now, I have to give you full disclosure here, Steve. I am literally next door to Huckabee in the Fox studios. Right. We're right next to each other. We're neighbors, and I think he's a terrific man. We've been neighbors for years and years and years in the office. I think everything that...
Does he throw loud parties?
He does not throw loud parties. He does kind of have some musical instruments, though, in his office sometimes. Yes, he does.
He plays,
he plays. And that's kind of fun, you know, to come in on a Friday afternoon, he's there, you know, family.
If he
and his
becomes
genes.
president, maybe he'll give you an office next to the Oval Office.
That would be nice. I've got to start working for that because we call each other neighbor. I mean, we can still be neighbors. But no, I think knowing him personally, and prefacing with that, knowing him personally as a human being, he certainly did not mean that. This is a family man. He certainly did not mean to have his words so, just really taken out of context, not making any sense. And this whole war on women, whether it's Democrats or Republican, it's the same bad thing in the sense that you use the word denigrate. And that really bothers me because there are a lot of issues. Just as in Snapshot I talk about racial issues that are still out there now, there are a lot of issues that have an impact on women and inequality for women. Let's face those and not get all sidetracked on the war on women kind of thing.
I mean, do you believe that it should be a constitutional right in effect? If this is ruled upon by the Supreme Court, for instance, the Hobby Lobby case, the sisters case, the nuns case, when that all gets ruled on by the Supreme Court, I mean, do you believe there should be a constitutional right for the government to provide women with birth control pills?
They're never going to get that far. Here's what's going to happen when it gets to the Supreme Court, and you're right, it's going there, and they've got all these different cases
on the religious groups like the nuns and the non-religious groups like Hobby Lobby.
Right, the non-profits and the for-profits, and religious and not religious. But here's what the Supreme Court, I believe, is going to do. They're going to find some kind of technicality so they don't have to reach the huge major constitutional issues. Same with, gay marriage, same thing. They find these technicalities, whether it's in the state law or as some kind of thing that's happened as it's gone up the federal system. They won't judge on they won't get to your question. And I know that's what you want. You want them to say yay or nay, constitutional right for contraception or but they're not, well, abortion, I've already said that, obviously, Roe v. Wade, but not for contraception. They're not going to get that far. They're going to rule on some kind of.
So would that then throw it back as with marriage to the states?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
On a state by state, even though it's Obamacare, it's a national thing?
Yeah, because the feds can get out of making any kind of constitutional ruling by saying it's a state issue. It was not resolved correctly at the state or wasn't resolved, go back to the state and resolve it there. I've seen that. That just seems to be the trend in the last few years. Right. That let's avoid the constitutional issue. Let's just punt it back to the states.
So you're on O'Reilly tonight, and then you're going to, I know you're going to be glued to the State of the Union.
Okay, yes, Steve, I'll be glued.
Where do you find the time to write these books? Because I know your schedule is nuts.
It's a little crazy, but it's fun. Yeah. It's so much fun to be able to take something like this. And when my dad gave me those pictures a couple of years ago, I just said, that's a book. Yeah, no, that's a story. I have to come up with a story. And how fun is that? I get to kill people off.
Folks, Snapshot, Lise Wiehl's latest. If you've read any of her books, I don't have to sell this one. If you haven't, get on board because she is a great thriller novelist, and this one, like I said, is to me has a little different twist going in because it's based on this very true picture that her dad gave her and the whole thing. So check it out, and check out Lise Wiehl on the Fox News channel on O'Reilly every Monday and every other show every other day, it seems. And that's a great thing. That's not a bad thing. Okay, Lise Wiehl, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lise.
Thanks,
appreciate it. All right, folks, it's been a wonderful show today. State of the Union tonight. We'll be all over it like a blanket tomorrow, even though Lise won't be here to comment on it. She'll be talking about it to all her friends. So we'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Newsmax TV and radio.